Oh yeah, you hear that right there? It is time for another Houston tradition. This time of year, the Come and Get It Mrs. Baird's Recipe Contest. The company is a great Texas story in itself and has been a great partner with the rodeo and KHOU for several years now. Here's the deal. We challenge you to make a dish using Mrs. Baird's products. We choose the top 3 and leave it up to the professionals to decide which is the best and who wins the grand prize package. The 3 finalists are Caron Huey, Crystal Lloyd, and Reggie Lewis Jr. All right, before we taste and talk with them, let's meet our judges. She's an award-winning chef and culinary instructor at Houston Community College. She was also a finalist on Gordon Ramsay's Next Level Chef, Chef Mariah Scott.
Thank you.
Up next, Katie Stone. She continues her mother's legacy as president of the Cleverly Stone Foundation. They created Houston Restaurant Weeks and Eat Drink HTX to help restaurants and benefit the Houston Food Bank, one of their largest fundraisers. A Houston baker known for her creative desserts like a chicken and waffle cupcake. Yes, ma'am. Danny Hertel is the owner of Foodie with a Booty. And finally, Shane Sumbro is with us right now with Mrs. Baird's Bread. Wow. And Shane, as I mentioned, Mrs. Baird's is a Texas story in itself.
Absolutely. You know, 116 years ago, Ninny Baird started baking bread for her neighbors in Fort Worth, and we expanded, and we're in Houston now and all over the state of Texas.
Yeah.
And we continue to bake bread for our neighbors. Our neighborhood's just gotten a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and your neighborhood, when you say neighborhood, it truly is people made up of your neighbors, right? And that's why you're so involved in so many different things throughout the community. You help several programs that help feed people in need for sure. But on this level here is just fun, and we have this contest. So explain to people what the contest is and the prize.
So this is probably our most fun, most anticipated show and segment of our entire rodeo season. We started this about 5 or 6 years ago, where we wanted our consumers, your viewers, to tell us about their family recipes, maybe that they grew up with, the traditions that they have. The only caveat, it had to be made with a Mrs. Baird's product. Yeah. And it's really so much fun.
Sometimes people think they get stuck and they think, oh, it's just the bread. Well, it's not just the bread. You have some donuts out there and some other things.
You can make a lot of things with bread. You can make things with our donuts and honey buns and sweet goods. So it's going to be a fun morning because I already see it and smell it, and this is very, very
so
exciting.
Good, and the dishes look good as well. All right, let's meet our judges. Chef Mariah, as I said earlier, you were a finalist on Gordon Ramsay's Next Level Chef, and you survived.
I did survive. I'm still here to talk about it. Yes, ma'am.
2025 Chef of the Year, globally inspired approach to soul food in particular. What do you mean by globally inspired?
Well, I've had the opportunity to travel to over 30 countries, and traveling has definitely inspired my palate when it comes to international cuisine. And basically, every country has their own soul food. Yeah. So I like to apply global techniques as well as Southern Foundation.
Yeah, you lead the a la carte program at HCC, which is so cool because aspiring chefs get to get hands-on experience. As we know, you can learn a lot in books and people can tell you a lot of stories, but unless you are in that kitchen, managing that kitchen and dealing with all the heat in the kitchen. Oh,
there's a lot of heat.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about that dining experience.
Yes, so I run the a la carte program at Houston Community College, and what it is it's a fine dining concept where every week we offer 5 to 6 different courses. All the menus and all the recipes are curated by myself, and I teach it to the students who are about to graduate, and we actually serve the general public. Yeah. So we have about 30 seats, and so the students operate both back of house as well as front of house operations where they learn all of the globally inspired Southern food. I like to encourage learning different cuisines, especially Texas. It's a melting pot. Yeah. So and the students have the opportunity to serve the public and basically apply all their skills that they learned in previous semesters and serve them to the general public.
Yeah, the new dinner series is Geneva Blue, blending Southern influences with international flavors. Basically, it's your story, right?
It's basically my story, yeah. So Geneva Blue was inspired by my grandmother, Geneva. Her favorite color was blue. And it's a new concept I'm personally launching here in the next month of where basically it's storytelling through food.
Yeah. All right, Katie Stone, you look so much like your mom, which is awesome. And I remember hanging out with your mom sometimes, and I say, okay, what exactly does a food critic do? We spend the whole day tasting food, and she would teach me how to judge, food by its, obviously by its taste and texture and flavor, all that stuff. But I remember when she said, we have this idea that we hope can raise money for the Houston Food Bank, and here we are, and you are carrying on that legacy.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, August traditionally is a slow month of the year for restaurants here in Houston, and also nationally, historically, it is the slowest. And as you know, food and restaurants and chefs, that was her community. She was the OG foodie broadcaster here in Houston. And so this is what she started to help her community. She was tired of seeing her friends laid off. And so now August is actually the busiest month of the year
Yeah.
here in Houston for restaurants.
People get a chance to taste something they didn't even know about, and thank you so much for letting us feature so many of the participating restaurants on the show that people may not have known about.
Well, thank you.
And it does reflect, you know, as Chef Mariah was saying, it does reflect the beauty of Houston's food scene. It's not only different cultural things, but the blending of cultural things, and then of course things that people create themselves. I remember one of my last phone calls with your mom. She said, "Can you believe we raised this much money?" And it's the largest annual fundraiser for the Houston Food Bank, and even more money has come in since.
It is, yes ma'am. Over 73 million food insecure Houstonians have been fed as a result of the 23 years of Houston Restaurant Weeks. And thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
especially now because there's been budget cuts since then.
Absolutely,
that they're
but they need our help as, you know, a lot, and also the local restaurants need our help right now too. So it's definitely a win-win-win. The diners get a great deal, the local restaurants see some new faces, and then the food bank gets their biggest check of the year. So y'all dine out and do good in August.
That's right, that's right. All right, Danny, how sweet it is. Okay, Danny's a foodie with a booty. Okay, we're not going to make you get out of the show, but if I eat all of your cookies and cupcakes, I'm going to have a booty too. But anyway, you came up with the idea in the shower one day, but you were such a great entrepreneur story in that people were saying to you, no, you have to have formal training to do this. What are you doing? You can't make a living out of this. Well, guess what?
I did. Guess what? I'm on Great Day Houston judging a contest.
But you've done other things too. You created a whole business out of this, and part of that business is because you have such unexpected flavors. I mentioned earlier the chicken and waffle cupcake, cherry Coca-Cola cake, fried peanut butter and jelly cupcakes as well. And how this all started, which I love about this, is that you were baking after dealing with some health issues, and you started baking, and you had to tweak some things.
Yes. I dealt with a lot of health issues, and a lot of the symptoms with those health issues is I couldn't eat a whole lot of food, and food made me in pain and just made me feel sick overall, and so food became really negative, and I got tired of it being negative, and I wanted it to be positive again, so I thought, what better way than to make a cupcake Pop-Tart flavored?
What better way? All right. Yeah, first you were copying other recipes of famous people, and then you thought, okay, let me get off in the kitchen. This is one of the things that you teach, and that we all know, that when you know the basics of food, then that can be your launch pad for really experimenting.
Yes.
And you've done a lot of great stuff with several celebrities, DJ Steve Aoki, King and Country, Smash Mouth, William Shatner, Joan Jett, and Houston Texans. I believe William Shatner said that her cupcakes are out of this world.
Yes.
He's like, that cupcake was my final frontier.
Exactly.
But anyway, thank all of y'all for being here.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, this is awesome.
Throughout the show, we're going to hear how our contestants came up with their recipes and what ingredients they use to get there. And then we will announce the winner toward the end of the show.